It's Friday. It's Mark Pyers. And it's real.
I was walking down the road today, looking for another way
to ease my mind
and help my living.
It's Real Talk. It's the daily variety show, Mark Pyers Real Talk. I'm here to help you make smarter moves, to amplify your current state. And I'm here with you on Friday. It's day 361 in a row of the Real Talk show. And I want to thank Jack. Jack, thank you so much, buddy, for liking that I'm live right now. You are the man. And I am live, guys. I'm with you, like I've been for 361 days. And I can't believe I started this just about a year ago. And now we're officially here, just 4 days from the second year of Real Talk. And I want us to start to go over what we've accomplished in this last decade because, you should treat each decade as like a looking glass into what you did for that point of your life, because we only get a certain amount of decades, obviously. You should try to catalog what you've accomplished. I was saying it's something that you should be able to share with your family. So one thing I look back that I wish I had for my family is more data. Just wanted more information. Who was my great-great-great-great-grandpa? I don't know. I don't have that information. And I start getting deep into it. I start thinking about, well, forget about my great-great-great-grandpa. Like, what about my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa? And then his great-great-great-great-great-grandpa. And then you keep going back and, like, who was the very first Pyers? Who was the person who led to where I'm sitting here today at this microphone? Where did it all start? I have no idea. But it started. I'm here today because of somebody. And I thank you. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to real talk on a daily basis for the rest of my life. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm here to do. And I thank you for tuning in with me. We're just getting going. Year one is like it's kind of where we're feeling around, trying to figure out what's going on. Like, oh, what? There's a microphone? Oh, yeah, it's a microphone. Oh, there's a camera. There's another one. And there's a beat seat over there, and like all these things happen over a period of 361 days. You start to get more, I guess, confident in what you're doing, and you start to feel a little bit more secure, and you start to get creative. Something I reflect on often is in my real estate business. I was the guy who thought of drone photography in this part of the country because I was having fun. When you're having fun, nothing can stop you from creating something fresh and unique. I was having a great time selling real estate. And that allowed me to think of this concept of what can provide a better experience for my clients, for my consumers. I want to be able to provide that overall perspective of a property in one shot. The drone. Matt Zabrowski, here you go, buddy. Woo-hoo! I love it. Every time it hits me. Every time, guys. That's Zabrowski scream. Shoot some energy back to me. I just, there's a lot to reflect on. There really is. 10 years. I started this decade scared out of my mind. Terrified. And the reason is, the first 30 years, just about close to that decade, that first 30 years of my life, I wasn't shifted to be this, business and entrepreneur and focus on going out there and creating something massive. I wasn't thinking that way. I was thinking about writing songs, and it was a different mentality. So when I started 2010, going to this 2020 year, I had 2 children going into this decade. 2 babies, and starting a real estate business, something that was alien to me. I went from writing songs, wearing Birkenstocks and traveling this country and seeing places and waking up late and sleeping, in and staying up really late and writing music all the time, to basically hanging up a guitar putting my head down, creating something unique, and getting to the point where I was having so much fun selling real estate, working with my clients, providing value, that it allowed me to open up to something new, something unique for them. And as an inventor as well, I find the most important thing you could ever be focused on is solution to problem. That's what we're here to do, is find a solution to the problem. Well, the problem is the attention span of the consumer has shifted to basically nil. So if you know you have 3 to 4 seconds before that person passes on your property and goes to the next property, what do you do? How do you get them to look at the second photo? How do you get them to continue to look at that property? The first photo didn't get them. They're gone. That was where my mind was in 2013 when I said, you know what? I think I'm going to buy a drone. And I think I have explained this. Look, I'm going to go over something that I've shared with you. Oh, Patience, love you too. Thank you so much. I want to share this story. I shared it with you at the beginning, but we're doing this as a reflection point for me over my decade. I'm going from what I consider my awakening decade to what I consider the domination decade is where we're going in this next 10. But this awakening decade, I was sitting there 2010, 11, 12, and I'm creating something, a real estate business that didn't exist. Positivity first, giving people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, and providing real estate and construction advice in the process, saving my clients time. We're walking into properties and they don't need to call a contractor in to determine what needs to be done there because I was giving them that information. I was able to give them a ballpark estimate as we walked through in real time. So I'm adding value right off the top before I even thought of the drone. And all of a sudden I get there's a 8 by 11.5 piece of paper sitting on my desk in the office one day. And I look at it and it says, do you need some aerial photography? I should add a voice to this. Do you need some aerial photography? For $350, we'll fly over your property from 600 feet and we'll take a telephoto lens out. We'll grab a couple shots of it. And 2 weeks later, we'll send those photos to you. $350. Now, this is a guy, 33 years old, thinking to myself, wait a second. I'm going to be selling real estate for how long? The next 30 years, for 35 years? I'm going to hire a guy to get into a helicopter every time I need someone to give me an aerial shot. Now, my whole focus in this business from day one was get into the high end. I didn't get into this business to go and do rentals and work on $200,000, $250,000 homes exclusively. I wanted to get in there and work with Bill Gates, Elon Musk. I want to work with somebody who knows what they want and they're looking for somebody who's going to do the job for them. So I put the time in. I'm putting my head down because that's who I'm aiming to work for. The people who have earned something in their lives and they're demanding perfection or they're demanding somebody who's going to work at a higher level. That was where I was aiming from the beginning. Higher level of service. So the drone. I'm not going to pay a guy $350 to get into a helicopter for me. First of all, I don't know what you're shooting. I don't know what pictures you're getting for me. I need to know what angles I'm going to get. And what if you shoot the wrong house? Like all of a sudden these things are going through my mind, you know? And so it's just like and actually it's funny. I had a client who actually slit my throat and just eventually sold the house for the same number I told him it would sell for. And he had mentioned at some point, you know, there's this drone thing. It's really cool. There's these people shooting drones. You know, it would be cool. We had an aerial shot of our house. It'd be cool if you did another one and maybe get a drone. He just mentioned it one day and I didn't put another thought on it because I think we had acquired that shot. However, a few months later, I started realizing the value of that small note he mentioned. You know, I could really use a new one because the other one we couldn't get. Maybe you should get a drone shot of it, or you should get an aerial shot. And when he mentioned drone, I was like, click, you know, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go and look into this drone thing. I start looking. Nobody in Fairfield County was offering the service. Nobody in my market was offering free aerial photography. I just quickly went home. I said, look, I'm going to buy a drone. I remember when my wife saw the bill and she goes, what the? Because guys, they are cheap now. Now by cheap, still $1,250 to $1,800 is not cheap, but that's cheap relatively compared to what I paid, which was 4 times that when I first bought my drone, which is the Phantom. It was the first Phantom. Upgraded everything. It was a ridiculous price tag to pay. But in my mind, in my heart, I knew no one had done this. And if I do this, this is an opportunity for me to create a new era of the Real Talk business, or at the time it wasn't Real Talk, but of Mark Pyre's real estate. Free aerial photography. So I get the drone. I had just sold a house for a gentleman in New Canaan. Great house. Took us a while to sell it. 137 showings. This is a little side story. I showed it 137 times, and in the process learned the perfect way to show and sell a house. It took me 137 showings to understand the perfect way to show a property. I scared people off in the process, gave them too much information in the process, and I learned what is the fine line you walk when you're a listing agent. You know, our clients are always asking us to show our homes. I want you to be there, Mark. I want you to show it, Mark. Well, look, I love showing property. I love getting a client in a house with me. However, if that client does not know me and they're there with their own agent, I become a negative in the situation, no matter how positive I am. I become a negative because they don't want an agent howling or, all over them as they walk through that house. Look, buddy, I'll let you know if I have any questions. I don't need you standing over my shoulder. So I try to explain to my sellers, let me be there, but let me show it my way. You come in, I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough. I'm going to tell you the features of that property, of that house. And I'll let you know that I'll be in the other room playing piano for you. You're going to hear me playing the piano loud enough that you could speak freely in that house. I am there, Mr. Seller. I'm just serenading them. And I would say, if you are a seller and you have an instrument in the house, you should be hiring me to be your listing agent. Anybody who knows and walks through a property that I list will tell you it would be a pretty smart idea. I'm there improvising music for people in real time. I'm creating a mood. Life is about creating a mood. When I'm there and there's a piano, I just want to let it take me and then just let that music permeate the home. Let them feel something while they're there. This life of ours is about creating an experience, right? I'm creating an experience every time a buyer walks through a property of mine. But I don't want them to think I'm all over them. I don't want them to feel like, what's this guy doing? Eesh, this listing agent. I wish he wasn't here. I wish I could speak to my agent freely. Here's the other thing. You could say this, you're not a piano player, you're not a guitar player, you're not a musician. I'm going to go outside and make a few phone calls. I've given you the breakdown on this property. I'm going to go outside, give you a few minutes to yourself. You guys make yourselves at home. I'll be back in a few minutes. That's the way you handle it. Give the buyer the house. You're trying to get them comfortable. Get them comfortable. Let them spend as much time as they need to in that house with their own agent. And you just don't want to be seen. Get out of there. Or go play them a nice song on the piano. Those are my two options, Oh, Jill, thank you so much. Oh, you're the best. Jill Moore just said she's enjoying the show. And Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jill. Very much Happy New Year to you as well. Merry Christmas. It was an amazing Christmas because I got to spend it with my family. Oh, my goodness. When you're finally aware of your moments, when you are living in the moment, essentially like I have been for 361 here, where my entire life is about giving now. And when I get to Christmas Day where it's about giving, it was Real Talk Day. It was Real Talk Day for me to see how everybody was doing what I've been asking them to do for 360 days, 359 days. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And I got to tell you, can't we just bottle up what we were doing that day and continue it on a daily basis forever? Can't we just bring it into our lives? Can't we just look at somebody who has a different political belief than us and say, I accept you. I don't care if you like something that I don't, because you're allowed to. This is America. You're supposed to think differently than me. And if you thought the same as me, I would be a little worried. I actually don't want to be with that many people that all of a sudden start acting like me. You guys ever had that before? Ooh, that was my issue with dating. I would date and I would be with someone and all of a sudden after a little while I'm noticing not that I ever saw this, but imagine you're dating someone, all of a sudden she starts doing Christopher Walken. You know, she's walking around. She's like, "Oh, I'll have the eggs over easy." I'd be like, "What the heck is going on over here?" You know. So it got to that point though, where I would do specific things. Like I would do vocal things. Like I would do. Here's a funny one. I would do Jerry Seinfeld's father. Oh no, I'm sorry, George Costanza's father from Seinfeld. He used to do this thing where he would go up and scream. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Be like, "No, no, no, no!" He would do the scream thing. And I coupled that with a Russian accent. And I came up with this, "What the hell," is what I used to say. But, "What the hell?" And that was what I do. "What the hell?" And I dated this girl. All of a sudden, I'm there at a party one night, and I hear her go, "What the hell?" And I was like, I never did it again until just now. You know, it just totally bothered me. And when I finally met my wife, and this was 2006, I met my match. I met somebody who challenged me, first of all, and secondly, was so independent and fierce that I didn't have to worry about her clinging on and needing some of my energy or whatever, because she was so her. She was herself, and that was what I think I fell in love with, was that I was able to freely be me and not have to worry about anybody affecting that. That's a weird thing to say, I guess, but I don't know. It's my perspective on it. That's something here. We're talking again about the decade. That was a little bit before the decade. But let's get back to the story. 2013, I get this drone. And it's a crazy thing because I spent a ton of money on it, but I knew no one else had one. And I start telling all my sellers, anybody I'm going in for a listing appointment to, my man Daniel, happy Festivus, my friend. I'm dying, Jerry! And so I go to my friend and I get this 2013. I'm start telling everybody, free of charge. If you hire me, I'll be there with my drone, okay? And we'll shoot a shot. Everybody else is charging you $300, $250. You get one photo. You don't know what you're going to get. I'm going to go out there and shoot it. And it's advanced, okay? It started that way. Now I go once a month to my clients. I'll go out there every month and shoot a new shot, me personally, and I provide new aerial photography on a monthly basis. This is something to date that no other realtor on this planet, I think, offers. Maybe they do, but it's something I offer, I believe, exclusively. And so at 2013, I go over to my client's house who just sold his house. After I effectively sold it and showed it, 137th showing, I sell it. And so he says, I said, "Look, I want to give you guys a little gift. You're going to Florida. You're going to miss this house. You were here for about 28 years. I'm going to shoot a shot with my new toy." It's not really a toy. It's something I'm going to use. I didn't really tell him the full story. He comes walking out while I'm flying my drone. He snaps a photo of me, and he sends it to the New Canaan Advertiser with a little story about what I'm doing. And the crazy thing about this was this gentleman used to be in PR. So he knew how to craft that letter. So I guess it went onto a couple of radars. All of a sudden, this little article turns into Channel 12 News calls me, which is the local news channel here. "Hey, we want to do a story on this drone thing that you're doing." Yeah, I'm up for that. They come over, do the story. Channel 8 News calls. "Hey, we heard you're doing this thing about drones. Can we meet you and do a story?" Absolutely. Fox News Connecticut calls. Absolutely. Now at this point, the FCC is getting involved. You guys remember the FAA? I'm sorry. The FAA is getting involved in telling people you can't fly your drones commercially or we will fine you. Someone got fined $250,000. And all of a sudden, the big topic here in Connecticut is Mark Pyers going to stop flying his drone? He's the guy who's been on TV all over, and someone's going to knock on his door and is going to fine him because he's flying his drone. Yeah, but I'm not charging anybody. It's free of charge when I go out with my drone. They said commercial drone use, which means, "Hey, buddy, I just flew around your property. Give me my $300 and I go on my way." That was illegal. But if I go over to your house and I say, "I'm going to shoot a great shot of your house," no money exchanged at all. It's just part of my weaponry to sell this property. Now, this is what they started to tag on to. "Yeah, well, you're not getting paid up front, but you're getting paid after the closing. So it's still commercial use." When they got to that, when they start to legally grab to that, and it's funny, the attorney now for my company was the attorney at for the state at the time. I had a conversation with him at the time. He goes, "You can't do this, Mark. You have to stop." I said, "Tell him to come and stop me. I'm not charging anybody for it. I'm safe with it. I have nobody else around me. I keep it under 450 feet. I've had no incidences with it at all since I purchased my first drone. And so if someone has a problem with it, tell them to come and knock on my door, but I'm not going to stop." And so it's 2019 now. No one ever knocked on my door. And I continued. I followed my intuition the entire time, and I'm going to continue to do that. So 2013, that was the big thing for me. 13, I was on the news a lot for that. When I met Jim Altman this year, who's a 30-something time Emmy winner, Fox News here in Connecticut, this is the third time he's interviewed me in the last like 5 to 7 years. And he goes, oh, what do you... He says, geez, you're very interesting, huh? You did the drone, and then you did the 3D. Now you're doing the beat seat. At the time, we had a different name for it when I was in the news for it recently. But guys, you have to continue to open yourself up to something new. And especially if what you did up front didn't work, if it didn't land, if it didn't get you anywhere, you need to keep expanding your opportunities. Open up your mind. And I think we talked about this this was basically the entire message from yesterday's Real Talk. We are all failures. Every single person on this planet is a failure unless they apply themselves. Nobody gets anywhere until you apply yourself. You get by bare minimum. Everybody's bare minimum until you apply yourself on, and it's not just like once. You have to apply yourself. You have to have a passion for something. And when you do, you can forge a path. Here's something I want to share. My man, Phil. Phil said he's not a failure. He's Phil Hall superstar. I love it. Cross, how are you, my friend? I'm so glad to have you guys on today. This is Real Talk Day 361. Guys, I've been here every single day since December 31st, 2018. This is a variety show. What started as a vlog very quickly turned into a talk show and then turned into a variety show. I'm here with you every single day, multiple cameras. I got the beat seat over there. We're going to get a song on today for you. And every single day there's a song on my invention, the beat seat. The beat seat is the first drum in the world you play with your hands and feet. And it's also the first drum in the world for guitar players. So we were selected Summer NAMM Editor's Choice this year, which was a huge honor. And we are very thrilled to have it out in the market now. So that one right there is completely insane. It's my own personal model I built from a custom job I just did last week. I can't tell you about it yet. I'm praying and hoping that it works out, and I can. But right now, I had some extra wood left over, thank God, and I built that unbelievable beast right there, which is all flame maple and real hardwood mahogany. But guys, even that, I didn't even think it was possible to do that. I was like, oh, there's no wood that's 12 inches wide. Everything's like 6 inches, 8 inches. I don't want to join wood and all this stuff. So I'm like, I can't. There is some wood that's 12 inches wide. You can absolutely use hardwood and build beat seats. I proved it. That's why when someone says you can't do something, when I say I can't do something and someone says, yes, you can, Mark, it's not impossible. That thing's telling you I am possible. That was the thing I came up with a few weeks ago. Oh, yeah. Impossible? No such thing. You guys are reading that word wrong. There's an apostrophe in there. I'm possible. Seriously. Now, I'm going to play a game with you guys right now, okay? This is something that we did a few weeks ago, and this is something I want to continue on a daily basis as part of our variety show. It's a game. You have to see if you beat me, okay? And here's it. It's very simple. Don't smile. That's it. All you have to do is not smile. Just look at the camera, straight at the camera. Don't look away, and don't smile no matter what, okay? Don't smile. That's it. Very simple. I said don't. Don't. You're not supposed to smile. You're supposed to stop yourself from smiling. But the problem is a smile has an energetic value, and every single time it comes out, so does that wonderfully beautiful energy of yours. And the world feels it. And the world needs more of it. Let it nourish this planet. Let your smiles take someone to a different height. You have that ability. Can you believe that? That you have a power within you? It's a simple power. It's called a smile. I think that somebody should be running for president. It should be smile more. That should be the campaign. Let's smile more. What is going on out there? Now, traditionally for 361 here, we have not discussed politics. I don't talk about politics because honestly, this entire planet is messed up right now. I don't know what to tell you guys. Everyone is insane. There are families not speaking, children not speaking to their parents just because that person doesn't agree with what they believe. It is a problem, guys. This life is short, okay? And you don't want to look back with regret. You don't want to look back and say, I wasted this time of mine with anger in my heart. What are you doing? It's killing you. Stress, anger, frustration, anxiety, these things deplete you of your life energy. Tune into the Real Talk show. I will charge you up every single day forever, okay? We're here together to do it. I can't wait till we're together doing it in person. That's what I'm really, really pumped about. And it's 2020 that happens. I'm pretty certain of it at this point. I don't know. I'm just going to continue to go every day until someone calls me and says, hey, I want you to show up at this place at this time, and I want you to get on stage and talk to these people. I'll be like, okay, let's go. I'm ready to do that. I've been doing it here on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook for 361 days. I think it's about time I get in front of a crowd and we build it personally in front of people. We do this because I'll tell you what, I'm doing this all alone in a room, all alone. And when people feed my energy, it's just insane what happens. So I'm looking forward to that, guys. I cannot wait. So who's going to be the first person who says, you know what? I really want to have Real Talk at my next event. I really want to get the perspective of the Mark Pyers Real Talk program at my next party. You know, we're doing this little weird thing at my house. I'd love to have just a motivational speech by Mark Pyers Real Talk. Shoot me a note. Go on the website. Book it. There is an actual option on my website to book me for a night for doing a show. And it's not just Real Talk music. It's everything. Everything. I'm talking about this show. I bring the entire show. Maybe even the celebrity impressions too. I don't know. Let's see what we got over here. Ooh, TEDx talk. I would do that. Absolutely. Who's getting me in? I don't know how to make that happen. Patience says there's a traditional drum in Ghana that's like that. It's part of an ensemble that she played when she was younger. You're probably referring to the cajon. The cajon is a traditional percussion instrument that you see all over the world. The beat seat is the first drum you could play with your entire body. You could play with your hands and feet, and you could sit completely upright. That is something that was a huge differentiation between what is out there and what we have. Every other drum you have to bend over to play. This one you could sit completely upright. You kick it with both feet. It has 2 snares in it, and it has omnitone. Everywhere you hit it sounds different, which is something that is amazing. And I'll demonstrate that to you when we go over there in a few minutes. So, but I appreciate that you're checking out the beat seat because it really is phenomenal. It's a lot of fun to play, and we're going to get into it in a few minutes. So I have some news stories for you guys. I think we should get into the news. What do you say? Oh, yeah. So this is kind of crazy stuff. You know, again, I always talk about how scientists only know what they think they know, and they wind up finding out so much more within a day. So, 2 billion-year-old water in South Africa may hold answers to Mars mysteries. Let's get into this one, guys. 2 miles under a grassy plain in South Africa, pockets of water lie trapped in the rock. Scientists think that pockets may have isolated from the surrounding environment for 2 billion years. These liquid time capsules are hot, salty, and devoid of nutrients from the surface, and they may be chemically similar to water deposits on Mars. This is cool, right? Now, researchers think that they may have found things living in the long sequestered water. There is potential that they have isolated. I can't see it. I don't know. If they find something alive in this water, that's pretty exciting because they believe that it was hotter than anything that would house life prior. So check that story out. I'm not going to get into it too much. I actually should put my glasses on for these today, guys. It's hard for me to see the screen. Let's see what we got. Let me roll this down here. All right. So this was a better story here I want to share with you. Space tourism set to become a craze in 2020. Now, this is going to be, can you imagine that? Where people are just like, yeah, I'm just going over to the moon. I'm just going over to the moon for a night. We're staying at the Marriott. Oh, yeah, where are you? We're over at the Hilton. What? On the way to the moon for a weekend visit. The space tourism sector is heating up, with major players getting close to their goal of delivering various forms of commercial spaceflight by 2020. Notably, NASA's decision to open up the International Space Station for tourism and other private ventures from 2020 is a key catalyst in expanding the scope and market of space tourism. Space tourism prospects aplenty. Space tourism, also known as citizen space exploration or personal spaceflight, has become an attractive space due to strong consumer spending. However, the biggest roadblock for the success of space tourism is the high cost of the travel. Notably, a trip to the International Space Station will cost you around $35,000 per day of stay, while a return ticket will cost around $60 million. Holy cow. Really? The cost of getting into space will decline if the next generation of space planes can reach the orbit, making it an economically feasible option for a larger customer segment. This will also help the market to expand rapidly. Per study cited by MarketWatch, the space tourism market is expected to be worth $1 to $1.18 billion by 2024. That's a 16.6% increase between 1919 and 2024. So anyway, it's interesting. The stocks are in focus. They're saying Amazon-backed Blue Origin's offering is based around a more traditional rocket, which takes off and lands vertically, and its objectives include orbital spaceflight. So everybody has their own way of doing this. It would be pretty cool if in like 10 years you're like, yeah, I'm going to Mars. I'm on my way to Mars. Where's, oh, I should have that guy here. Where's that? I can't, this is not a part of this show. That's part of the other show. Anyway, so space tourism, set to be a craze. I don't think it's 2020 though. I think it's a little bit further down the line. Which brings us kind of to our next story here. What is meant to happen and what really does happen. You know, timing wise. So flying cars, hyperloops, and the other that 2020 tech predictions did not pan out, okay? What does this say? Predicting the future is hard, even for the people who have the most power to influence it. In 2013, Jeff Bezos said that he expected Amazon.com would be delivering packages by drone in 4 to 5 years. Here we are 7 years later, and the flying delivery bots are still in the testing stage and have not started to get regulatory approval in the U.S. So basically, everything here on this list never happened, even though everyone was saying it would happen. Like computer chips, they said that they would consume almost no energy, still consume. Actually, here's an interesting fact. The new i9, which is an Intel chip, it requires 165 watts of energy, which is roughly twice as much as a 65-inch television, just so you have an idea of how much our phones need to power in order to do the crazy stuff they do. In 2014, Ericsson Mobility, the guy who, Ericsson phones, he said that 90% of the Earth over 6 years old would have a phone. Now, I personally think anybody between 6 and 12 should not have a phone. Like, it's just my perspective. Like, you shouldn't have a phone under the age of 12. What do you need a phone for? You're always with people. We didn't have phones when we were kids. I used to wear a shirt that said Mark on it. Hey, Mark, come here. Oh, okay. We did have a word, though. If you didn't say the right word, I think it was fiaz. It's fiaz, which is it's a Portuguese, dessert. Fiaz. If you didn't say fiaz, Mark the Shark's not getting in the car. That was my nickname, too. When I was a kid, the priest called me Mark the Shark. Because I used to smile a lot. I had probably big smiley teeth, the big sharp teeth. Who knows? I have no idea. I guess because it rhymes with Mark, maybe. So anyway, who had phones? Yes, we had payphones. Phil says we had payphones. If you didn't have a dime, you went and you called collect. You go around the corner to the payphone. We used to go into town. There was like such a boring town when I grew up. There's like, oh, we go to the mobile station because there's like nothing in town. So you'd go to the mobile station. There were 2 telephones there, payphones. And that's where everybody would figure out where they're going for the night. We're going to meet at mobile. Anybody from New Canaan knows what I'm talking about. They'd be like, yeah, that's how silly it was. But there was nothing else to do. We're going to mobile. Ooh. So we absolutely have seen some shift, though. Since 1996, when I graduated high school, to 2019, it's a complete... And we were so far down the line at that point. Like, so much had happened by 1996. But from 96 to today, it's kind of crazy what's happened. But computer chips still consume a ton of energy. And Jet.com would break even. Now, I didn't even know what Jet.com was, but Dan's on. He said mobile. That's right. He knows. Dan's my buddy. Dan and I used to go to mobile. I'd see him at mobile. Be like, what's up? Where are we going? Oh, yeah, we're going to this house? Okay, cool. So Jet.com was basically started by the co-partner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and he started this company and he sold it to Walmart for 3.3 billion. And he said that they'd break even by 2020. Well, they're projected to lose $1 billion this year, so that didn't happen. The Hyperloop. Elon Musk outlined that would happen by 2020. Not even close. Google Cloud business, 15% of their business. The guy said that would be 100% of their business, or like 50% of their business. Anyway, Toyota's self-driving cars, that didn't happen. Bitcoin, this is a good one. John McAfee believes that Bitcoin will be worth $1 million by the end of 2020. And he estimated that about 3 weeks before its original crash, and 83% of the value dropped. This was in 2017. And he believes it's going to go up to $1 million for a single Bitcoin. And if that's the case, I should have gotten Bitcoin. But he did say if it doesn't happen, he's going to eat an intimate body part. That is a very silly thing to say, my friend, because someone's going to come back to your door and say, you said it. Here's a knife. I don't know. Dyson will sell an electric car. They came back this past year and said that it's not commercially viable. Uber will deploy flying cars. That didn't happen either, obviously. Plus, who the heck's going to trust an Uber flyer? Oh, I'm getting a guy from Uber's coming to pick me up in his jet car or whatever the heck it is. That didn't happen either. So here's my favorite thing, or final thing I want to share with you guys. This is scary, okay? We are in, I'd say, trying times. This world that we live in is completely insane. Would you agree? And now Russia... Let me see if I can make this a little cleaner for you. Russia says it has first hypersonic missiles and they have entered service. Now, this is very scary for me, guys, because I don't like war. I don't like fighting. And I don't like when people put out their chest and they're like, look what I have and you don't have. Now you know what's going to happen. We're going to say, well, we got to have hypersonic. And then everybody's going to have hypersonic. And all of a sudden, these people are going to destroy this planet just by being idiots. Can't we just destroy all the arms and just be like, look, if we're going to fight, it's fist to fist. You're going to go into a ring, Iran versus whatever. You get your best guy versus Iraq's best guy, and it's a battle to the end, okay? Oh, and then it's Afghanistan versus India. That's going to be an interesting one. Fists. No, we're not going back. We're not going back in time. We're just going to destroy ourselves. It's going to happen, unfortunately. Yes, so basically what I want to share with you guys today is because this is going on, it's a very scary thing. And I think it's important for us to get some political kind of feedback here. What do you think? I think it's very important for us to get some feedback here politically. So I'm going to do this just on this one check here. Check this out. Ready? This is very important because he's on. I think we should ask Vladimir Putin what he thinks of this current situation that we're dealing with here. Like, how do you feel about having hypersonic missiles and you're the first one to have them? I'd like to know your perspective on this. Let's see what he has to say here. So, Mr. Putin, can you share with me what's your perspective on the matter? I see you have them. Are you planning on using them? Because I think we really need to know.
Well, of course I will not use them. But if Donald Trump, he make a problem for me, of course I drop on his head. All over his head. Very good, and yes, I'm very, very strong. Now I have the hypersonic, and nobody stop Putin anymore. I'm putting a hypersonic missile up your butt.
That's interesting. Thank you so much for... Oh, wait, hold on. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Putin. So, what happens, I guess, if maybe we should ask Donald what he thinks, because, what are we going to do, Mr. President? Are you going to get involved here? Because if you don't, we're in for it. We're really in for it. Of course I'm going to get involved. I'm going to get involved. Big league. I'm going to get involved, and we're going to fix this problem called Putin. I'm going to put him out of business. I'm putting him out of business. That's what Donald J. Trump is going to do in the 2020 set of 4 years. I'm going to put Putin out of business. Wow, that is really interesting, Donald. Now, you seem to be getting a lot of flack these days for this whole thing with the impeachment. Are you impeached? Are you still our president? Of course I'm still the president. I am the greatest president of all time. Big league. Wow. Okay, so then I love having Trump on, especially for that perspective. We want to make sure that he knows that, this is a crazy world we're living in, and if Putin has hypersonic missiles, then you definitely should too. What does Bernie think about this? I think if Bernie had his stay in office, he probably would have a couple of things to say about this, right, Bernie? Bernie, what do you think? I think this isn't going to work.
Well, of course I have a problem with it. I don't like when people have hypersonic missiles. We're going to get rid of the hypersonic missile. And Donald Trump is not getting rid of the hypersonic missiles fast enough.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Bernie, for being on. Very, very nice. I really appreciate it. How about you, Joe Biden? Do you have anything to say on the matter? Well, what do you think about it? What do you... What do you think about all this stuff that's going on here, Joe? Do you have anything to say on the matter at all? I mean, I would prefer if it was you talking and not me talking.
Well, when I go to my...
I'm messing it up, guys.
I had a Joe Biden going and I messed it all up. But when I go out and have hypersonic missiles, I want to make sure that the world doesn't have hypersonic missiles. Sometimes my Aunt Judy has hypersonic missiles, and then I ask her to make me some hot cocoa.
Wow, that's really good. Oh, no, that's not Tom. That was Trump. Where did Trump come from? He wasn't supposed to be in there. I don't know what happened here, guys. We just had these random call-ins. I don't know what happened there. Hunter Biden and the stripper. That's what Phil wants to see. Oh, my goodness. I don't know what happened there, guys. Sometimes the show gets taken over. And it's funny. I had Brock today was like, hey, do you remember when Conan O'Brien used to do just the mouth? He's like, you should do that. That would be really cool. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, well, maybe if I just make the camera really small by the face, then it will work. Well, it just sort of did. I don't know. Was that any decent, guys? You like the Bernie? Okay. Listen, I can do any impression that you want to throw at me. Literally, I think so. I mean, I try. Sometimes it's terrible. I don't even know what Putin sounds like. I have no idea what he sounds like. But my favorite thing to do, and I wanted to do, was to just have where was it again? Let me give you the look. Oh, it's back here. I'm really liking the Biden voice lately. I don't know why. I just think it's hilarious that he does this trailing off thing where he's just talking and then we're like, what are you talking about, buddy?
I went to my cousin's house for Christmas and we had a great time. But late in the night, they said that I should get going. I said, let's play a game where you sit on my lap. And that happened.
So I don't know. I'm just taking stuff that these people have said.
Except for this guy. I do not know what he has to say. This is how I look when I'm happy. This is how I look when I'm sad. Can you tell the difference? Nobody can tell the difference because I am stoic. I used to work for the KGB. I don't know if you knew this, but I was a high up. I was a KGB spy. And after a period of time with Gorbachev, do you remember him? He was a very nice guy, actually, a good friend. He used to bring me rice and beans and sometimes some vodka. And I used to like it, but, I had to cut his throat to become Putin. This is what we do here. We become Putin. It's amazing how sometimes I poop on you. It's like the guy. It's like a Conan O'Brien, Is how we talk. He talk like that, right? So anyway, this is my half Putin and my half Donald Trump.
What are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here, Dan? Holy cow. And then Hunter, look, where's my son Hunter? You guys have to stop looking into him because he did nothing wrong. Well, I don't think he did either. I don't know. I have no idea about anything because I don't talk about politics on this show. I'll just get people on and I'll make them all sound the same. So then you're like, what the heck is this guy? What does he support? Like, I don't support anything. I support happiness. I support laughter. I support us getting along. And this country's not doing that right now. So this is why Real Talk exists. This is why I've been live for 361 days, is to provide something that doesn't exist in this world. Whether it's some stupid impressions of the current political landscape, which is depressing because of the way they're treating this whole process, or it's Christopher Walken or Al Pacino or whatever, Richard Dreyfuss, or Jerry Seinfeld's father. What? I don't even know. That's Morty. I didn't do him really. Morty, he talked a little while like this. Jerry? He was like, you got to do this, Jerry. But it was really, my Seinfeld was not as good. Anyway, listen. Let's get into the next aspect of the show, which is the music portion. And what we're going to do is get the beat seat going here. You guys ready for a little beat seat? I'm kind of ready for it. Ah, Sonny liked that. Oh, that's funny. Sonny, you're right. Sonny said something that I've actually said in the past to friends. I'm going to read her entire quote so you guys can hear this. I mean no offense, but the Americans apparently used atom bombs twice. If there is one government that cannot be trusted, then it's the U.S. government, run by corporate companies and the political puppets. Oh, and then I see right below that, Dan's looking for a little Joe Pesci. I don't know if I can do Joe Pesci. I'm not sure if I can do... How's Pesci sound again? I got to figure... here's my pick. I'm trying to figure out how Pesci sounds. I got to do... You know what I'll do, Dan? Let me go back to this. Dan, I'll work on Pesci for you, okay? Let me think about him again. I say something funny? I got to do is... Jim Brewer does the best Joe Pesci impression. I'm going to have to work on that one for you. I think that we should have a cataloged list of impressions. So you could be like, today we want you to do these three, Mark. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, dude. Let's rock on it. But let's get a beat seat going. I think David's on. My man David's on over on the Instagram page. David, please head over to youtube.com. Type in Mark Pyers Real Talk. Subscribe and ding the bell. And let's play a song. Let's see what happens here. So yesterday I had this issue and all of my come on, almost there. There we go, that dropped. So I couldn't hear anything. I can't right now either. Let's see if that does anything. So something's wrong with this guitar, or at least the plug. But this guitar is pretty loud, so I'm going to just put this out here and see what happens.
that's where it started. Time in my head, it never departed. Only if I could put my eyes in your head, you could see how I feel about you. I pass my breath through you. And do you feel me there? And do you feel me there? No, 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 no. I'm in the dark. I'm in the dark. In the dark. It may be brighter in the dark, and I will find my way home. I'm in the dark.
That is, of course, tough to do without having a microphone, an official microphone. Oops. So, I am not sure. I think I'm going to. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a show tonight, guys, because I've been doing a show every Friday and Saturday night since I started this. But then I'm doing like full hours when I'm here. Like we've been on for 54 minutes right now. And then what, I'm going to go on and do another hour and a half tonight on the beat seat? Look, I'll do it, but I also don't want you to be like, okay, we already got an hour from you, pal. So I think what I'm going to do is probably pass on tonight's show, and then tomorrow night we'll do a killer Saturday Night Live. But like I said, if I hear from people saying I want you on tonight, I'll probably come on tonight. So I'm saying hello to all my people on Instagram. You guys rock. Please head over to YouTube and subscribe as well. Ding the bell. That is where the show goes. Oh, thank you, Sonny. I'm not sure how it sounded. And at the end, honestly, my voice gave out. Usually that note goes like... I'm hearing it in my head. It's not right. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a great rest of your vacation week, essentially. I have to do one more thing. Hold on. I've got this heater on over here, and it's like 90. Give me a sec. There we go. There we go. I don't have that thing shooting up at me anymore. So who's on? Say hello. I will be back, of course, tomorrow, day 362. Guys, we are 4 shows away from the end of the first year of Real Talk. We're going to continue our reflection on this past decade tomorrow. And, I didn't fully get into it, but remember, it's, you have to think outside the box. You have to be willing to try something no one else is doing. And if you're not willing to put that extra effort in, you will fail. I'm sorry. And I saw something here from my buddy Dan. Dan asked me a question. I'm going to go back to it. Hold on a second here. Mark, curious what your thoughts are on CBD market in 2020. I think that's going to be there's a benefit to CBD oil that I'm reading up on and I'm seeing is there are so many benefits to it that you can't look away. And I know that it's always been a stigma. Anything that's involved and connected to any sort of drug at all has a stigma to it. But that there is a benefit to CBD oil, and I believe it's going to be massive going forward. It already is, but it's not really being accepted fully. So once that happens, I think the upside's just tremendous. Yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that yourself, like what you're working on. Shoot me even a DM on that. Love to chat with you offline. But yeah, in general, I think that would be a smart way to start a Real Talk CBD line. Just kidding. No, I think, everything like that starts with just an echo. Like someone's like, did you hear about, you know what I mean? Like, wait, what's that? What's this thing? Well, there's nothing like, it's not going to make you feel anything, but it's going to help you. Inflammation is not an issue. All of a sudden pain is controllable. Like there's lots of things that you can look at and say, all right, well, if I can get a benefit from something and it's a natural benefit as opposed to something that you're buying from a pharmaceutical company, like I'm all for that. And I think there's a lot of people who think like I do, which is I'd rather something that's natural, that's going to have the same effect. I'm reading up on one of these books. You guys remember these books in the 1990s? It was like Health Secrets of the Unknown, of the Amazon or something like that. It'd be like Health Secrets of the Amazon. And so I'm reading these books and all of them talk about these different natural extracts that kill cancer cells and do all these amazing things. And I'm wondering why no one's talking about it. Like, why isn't anybody looking into this? Maybe they are, I don't know. But it seems like there are a lot of natural compounds on this planet, plants, extracts that could actually keep us much healthier and can cure us from diseases better than some of these drugs that are created in the laboratory. But as long as these pharmaceutical companies control our health, we are going to continue to stay sick. Let's say that again. As long as these companies, the pharmaceutical companies, control this entire market, we remain sick. We are living longer, but we're dealing with illnesses instead of finding cures to these illnesses. They're like, oh, just take this. You can live longer. And we're just saying, great. I'll live miserably, but I'll get to live longer. Great. Give it to me. But it's not the solution to the problem. It's just delaying the inevitable, and then you're miserable in the process. Whereas there may actually be a way, there may be something, a plant, a fruit, something on this planet that can give you the same effect, or actually is even more potent. There's one thing I read that says it's 10,000 times more potent than chemotherapy. And I'm saying, why are we not doing that then? Why? Why do I have to read about it in a book? Secrets of the Amazon. And then you hear that they're like getting rid of the Amazon. It's crazy. Insta, I'm about to lose you guys. I'm a minute and a half from losing you. We're getting the countdown over here. So I hope you guys will join me over on the YouTube page because I will be there for a few more minutes. We are at 58, and if I'm not going to do a Real Talk Friday Night Live, then I definitely have to stay on for a few more minutes. And who knows, I'll probably still be on later. I mean, I have this brand new beat seat here. I kind of want to rock out on it tonight, so who knows? Maybe I'll be back. If I do, I may not go live on Facebook, though. I'm not sure. Like I said, I just don't know what's... it's already every day, so doing it twice in a day may be just like, people like, okay, buddy, we get it. But it is beat seat night. It is what we've been doing for 361, so we may have to rock out. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But people on Insta, as soon as you get kicked off here, which is going to be 37 seconds from now, go over to YouTube and log in. What did you guys think of that whole mouthing thing we were doing earlier with the impressions? You think that's something we should do more of? I think so. I think I'm digging on that. In fact, Dan, shoot me a note. I got to give you a heads up on something else too. And I think that's it, guys. Tomorrow is going to be a big 362. We're going to do some more reflecting on this past decade as we prepare for this decade that's fast approaching us. I can't wait to get into 2020, to go from awakening to plan of action. You got to start with the awakening, and then you start seeing where are your paths to success. And then, okay, if these are my paths, which one's most viable? Okay, that one's most viable. And then how do I get there? Oh, yeah, that's right. I put my head down and go. I put my head down and I go. And when someone says to stop, I say, you stop, and you keep going. And when someone says, what are you doing? You say, what are you doing? And you keep going. And someone says, okay, well, enough already. You say, yeah, it's not enough already. I'm going to keep going. You stop. I don't need you sitting side by side with me. If you're not up for the challenge, I didn't ask you to join me. You can stay behind. That's fine. I'm going. Yesterday I talked to you about utilizing your moments within your day. And stop thinking, being that guy or that girl who says to themselves, I can't wait for that next break. I can't wait to find another 15 minutes to take that breath. You want to find an extra 15 minutes to continue accelerating. You want to find another 15 minutes to do something productive. You don't want to find another moment to take a break. You've done enough of that. You've taken enough breaks. Look back at the timeline. You've taken enough breaks. Get to work, all right? Let's get to work. I've taken enough time off. This is why I pushed so hard this year. 361 days of 45 minutes to an hour and a half of real talk. That's not an easy task, guys. And I've done it a few times sick. I went on vacation for a week and did an hour each time, each day. 9 days, I think. And this is what happens every day forever. Do you think I wake up and I'm like, ugh, I gotta do real talk again? I wake up and I'm like, I can't wait for real talk today. I wonder what I'm going to talk about. I wonder what's going to come out of me today. Because I have no control over what happens. But it happens every single day for 361, and we continue on. And I appreciate you guys joining. So Dan and everybody else who joined today, thank you so much. You guys rock. Please join in tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow night. It's going to be one show tomorrow at 10 o'clock or 10:30, and we're going to be totally rocking out, okay? So join me, all right? See you tomorrow. It's Mark Pyers.